Good evening, Simon here, Explosive Action. I am back with another video. This time I'm going to be taking a look at my favorite Blu-ray movie releases of 2021. So let's take a look. So as I said in the intro, this is my favorite releases of 2021. Not my favorite films, not my favorite new release films, and not even my favorite releases of the sets themselves. This is purely my favorite releases. That could be because an impressive box set, first time on Blu-ray, or just impressed that this thing even came out. So let's take a look at what we've got up first. And the first two I'm going to talk about that I was very impressed that came out are The Forgotten Jali Volume 2 and Volume 3. Very, very cool releases from Vinegar Syndrome here. We'll take a look into Volume 2 first. So the slipcase box. We've been doing that on a few of their releases lately. And take a look inside, and we get My Dear Killer, which has always been quite a grisly giallo film. Girl in Room 2A, which was previously out on Mondo Macabre, and The French Sex Murders, which also was on Mondo Macabre. Very nice to get these on Blu-ray from VS. Great releases, and I was very happy that they continued on from the first volume of last year. Next up, we've got Volume 3, this one here, and in here we get, again, the very cool slip box design, Autopsy, which had a really good DVD from Blue Underground, I think, or maybe Shriek Show, but quite some time ago, had a good DVD. And it's a really good film, I enjoyed that one. Murder Mansion, I haven't chucked this one on yet, so not sure what this one's like. But yeah, very cool cover on that one. And Crazy Desires of a Murderer. This was an entertaining film as well. So it's really cool that the Vinegar Syndrome guys are getting these sometimes obscure, sometimes a bit more just B-level giallo films. But either way, very impressive that, and I put that on backwards. Hey, to professionalism. Volume 2, Volume 3, Forgotten Jali. My next favourite, this time from Cauldron Films, this is Crimes of the Black Cat. Another giallo, and this was quite an obscure one. I'd never seen this before. Not too sure how well circulated or released this film ever was. But this came out this year, and the film's from 1972 from Sergio Pastore. And here's the inside other artwork, the back. And it's just a really cool giallo that sort of follows in the footsteps of early Argento. You get 2 discs here, you get the soundtrack, the Blu-ray, chapter card, and then some lobby card reproductions. There's a whole bunch of those. So it's a very nice release for a very obscure giallo film from 1972 by Sergio Pastore. So if you've not been able to see the film, you can't get this slipcase edition anymore. You can get the film, so do check it out. Crimes of the Black Cat. Some martial arts now. Jackie Chan from 1980. We get 88 films release of The Young Master. Fantastic box that they've done here. I think this was the first in their hard shell boxes that they've done, with the really cool Kung Fu Bob artwork on there. Just an all around awesome release for a really good Jackie Chan film. There's the reverse art there, and you can see the quantity of extras on the back. It's absolutely ridiculous. 2 disc set. You get theatrical cut, you get the international export cut, extended export cut, dozens and dozens of commentaries and interviews and things. Fantastic release. You get some lobby cards, and as well as that, we get some a poster with the Kung Fu Bob artwork is reversible as well, and we get a really cool book which just has stuff about the film and related films from Jackie Chan and other awesome stuff here. Very, very cool. Another great release. The film itself is an absolute classic, and directed by Jackie Chan as well. So there you go. Some more Jackie Chan now, this time supported with Sammo Hung and Yuen Bao. This is the Lucky Stars trilogy. Really, really cool to get this upgraded onto Blu-ray through Eureka Films in the UK. These films had Hong Kong Legend DVDs in the UK and Australia. Not sure if they had US releases, they probably did through Fortune Star. Anyway, slipcover release. There you go. Mountain of extras on the back, like insane amount of things. It's so hard to even read the amount of things on here. Different versions, export cuts of the film, and 3 films: Winners and Sinners, My Lucky Stars, and of course Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Star. So very cool booklet in here as well. I think the main thing you don't get when you get the secondary editions from Eureka are no booklet and no slipcase. So there you go. A bit of info on the films there, which is very nice. So it's always cool to try and get their early releases, but it's obviously the films that matter the most. So yeah, if you did miss out on an original version with the really cool slipcover, you can see it's got reflective stuff on there. Still, make sure you pick up the films, because Lucky Stars are a really fun trilogy of films from Jackie Chan. Next up, we have a 2020 film that came out in, of course, 2021. This is the really good fun Psycho Goreman Hunky Boy Ultimate Edition through Raven Banner. Such a good film. I had a lot of fun with it. It's either a love-hate film. You either are on board for the crazy shenanigans of this thing, or you're not. It's going to drive you mad. But I love this edition. You can see the kind of family movie vibe they've got with the alternate cover there, but you know, a bit absurd. And yeah, there's the back of it there. You get some promo card things, the Psycho Goreman's set of trading cards, which I've kept sealed, but very hilarious. And it's a 3-disc set, so you get Blu-ray of the film, DVD cut, and also, which is the real funny part, soundtrack CD there. So brilliant. And like I said, I think the film is a lot of fun. And as I said, this is the Hunky Boy limited edition, came out through Raven Banner. So yeah, if you're on board with Steven Kostanski's films, Astron 6 stuff, you're probably going to like Psycho Goreman. Next up, we have 2 sets, 4 films, 2 double features from the Roger Corman Shout Factory line. The ones you have to buy directly, which is slightly annoying: Terror Within and Terror Within 2, and Amazons and Barbarian Queen. Like I said, you had to order these things through Shout Factory Direct, which is okay if you live in the States, but if you live in Australia, they don't ship directly. You've got to go through a reshipper, and it's all kinds of a pain, but definitely worth it. Terror Within was a lot of fun. Post-apocalyptic creature feature kind of thing. Terror Within 2 had a Code Red release. They did just the sequel, they never did the first film. Not as good as the first film, and a few years later it came out, but it's still fun. I do enjoy it. And then here we've got, of course, Amazons, which is from 1986, and it's got who we have in this one again? We've got Joseph Whipp in this film, and Penelope Reed. But Barbarian Queen, that one I think is the more fun one. That one's got Frank Zagarino in it, so I always like myself a bit of the Zags. And take a look at that. Just take a good look at that cover art, soak it in, and these things are nice, short, snappy 70-75 minute runtime, so that's always a good sale for me. Amazon's Barbarian Queen, Terror Within 1 and 2 from Shout Factory, exclusive to their website. No one's going to argue that these are good films, but they are good, fun films. At least some of them are. Following on from last year's Al Adamson set, we get The Dungeon of Andy Milligan from Severin Films. What a great little box set this is. And yes, like I said, you could argue about the film qualities themselves as much as you like. There's some legitimately good fun ones in here. The ghastly ones is good fun. I had a lot of good fun with, which one particularly? I think it was Bloodthirsty Butchers was a really good fun one. There's some that are not so fun, but anyway, the box is very cool, and the whole thing's done in like, it's faux beaten up looking grindhouse thing, which completely suits that these were drive-in films. And there they are, the films themselves, little slipcase kind of things, which is nice. Disc just popping out the side with the original poster art. So yeah, it's an impressive set, and definitely in the I can't believe that they released this genre of film. There's the book all about it. This is put together by Stephen Thrower, so you know, a good read regardless what you think about the films. All about Milligan, the films themselves, how they all got made, interviews and things. We've got stuff here about the release dates. It's very thorough, so from at least that point of view, this set is worth your time. It is a good archaeological dig through the films of Dungeon of Andy Milligan from Severin Films. Severin Films again digging deep and coming up with some gold. We have the Eureka of Christopher Lee, another mammoth box set from these guys. Look at the size of the thing. 6 films from Christopher Lee's 1960s European outings, I suppose, and these things are pretty obscure. The only one I had seen prior to this was the Torture Chamber of Dr. Sadism. I had a German DVD of, and I thought that was really good. But there's some pretty obscure stuff on here. We have Crypt of the Vampire, Castle of the Living Dead, which has got Donald Sutherland in it, a very young Donald Sutherland. Sherlock Holmes, The Deadly Necklace, Challenge of the Devil, and the Theatre Macabre TV series, which they've got all surviving episodes in here, which is like 10 hours of trailers, promos, all kinds of stuff in here. Take a look inside. It's a ridiculous box set yet again. So, Torture Chamber, Dr. Sadism, Castle of the Living Dead, Challenging the Devil, Crypt of the Vampire, Sherlock Holmes and the Deadly Necklace, and the Theatre Macabre. We've got 24 remastered episodes on 2 discs, so everything they can find. And this is one of those series where Christopher Lee sort of introduces segments, so I haven't chucked this one on yet, but should be really interesting to check it out. And another awesome booklet, which is really cool, put together by Jonathan Rigby, going through the various films and how Christopher Lee got involved in this stuff in Europe. There we go, there's some Fu Manchu. So just another nice little collection for, I'd say definitely Christopher Lee big fans. This is not where you want to start off if you've never seen a Christopher Lee film. Go and watch Dracula. But if you have and you've exhausted all the Hammer films and you just want to keep digging, check out the Eureka of Christopher Lee through Severin Films. The next release was a film that I didn't like too much when it was on VHS. It had a DVD. The DVD wasn't very good, and it was just very hard to watch and enjoy, but I was willing to give it another go on Blu-ray, and I'm so happy I did, because in this presentation it's never looked this good, and that really gave it another life for me. I know it already had its fans, but it took this disc to turn me around. That is Toxic Zombies, coming out of Massacre Films. It took them quite a number of years to finish this. Film was from 1980, and the guys have assembled multiple 35mm prints. They've scanned them in 4K to come up with this copy of the film, so a lot of work put into it. Film also called Blood Eaters and Forest of Fear, slipcase edition. This is number 9 out on Massacre Films. There's the Blood Eaters artwork, and it does have as well the Forest of Fear artwork as well, so that's cool to have those options if you prefer the film by those titles. But I think Toxic Zombies is what you want to see. So yeah, 1980 film, backwoods horror with zombies. I mean, it is exactly what it says on the tin. Now, as I said, I never liked it originally, so if you didn't like this film before, or you just want to reappraise it, definitely check out this awesome release from Massacre Films, Toxic Zombies. The next film is a late 90s genre classic that has just been neglected on DVD. It's had full screen releases, it's had cut editions around the world. You had to get a French DVD to get the thing in widescreen at one point. I'm talking about Mark Dacascos in Drive, out through MVD Films, the fantastic retro VHS artwork, slipcover they're doing there. This film's great. It's always been a good fun film, and now it's presented as it should be, and it's in HD and looks absolutely glorious. Has additional cuts, I think, here of the film. Is that right? Different cuts? Yeah, it's got deleted scenes all thrown together, and theatrical cut. There you go. Theatrical cut with optional subtitles, and the extended director's cut. So yeah, multiple cuts of the film. This is, as I said, Mark Dacascos. The only reason this has probably got a release is because he was in John Wick 3. I guarantee that's what pushed this up the release calendar. It's got Kadeem Hardison in it, and it's also got Brittany Murphy was in this film as well, which is something I forgot until I got the disc in the mail. So there you go. Drive, a really good film. Guns akimbo. It's crazy. It's got sci-fi action. I mean, he's wearing this this device on his chest that gives him superhuman martial arts skills. The whole thing's kind of crazy. And underneath we get more traditional poster artwork, which is actually pretty boring. Not sure if there was another edition. Yeah, just the poster artwork again from the slip, and you get a poster itself. So it's not an amazing addition in terms of box or anything like that, but this is just one of those films that, you know, like The Perfect Weapon. That was a film that you had to wait till the Blu-ray before you could watch the thing properly. Drive is like that. The Blu-ray has finally solved the problem, so check out Drive from MVD. Severin Films have been very good to us of late with Bruno Mattei. They gave us Robo-War, they gave us Terminator 2 Shocking Dark. They gave us Cruel Jaws, and I was waiting, I was pleading for Strike Commando to come out. They listened to my pleas. Strike Commando 1 and 2, and I will read from the quote on the back. See this movie, a great action-filled ride that gets better with each viewing. Best going apeshit ending to a movie ever. Quote by Explosive Action. I was thrilled to see my name on the back of this thing. Didn't know it was happening. I was just super excited to see that. But anyway, I've always loved these films. Strike Commando 1 is an absolute action genre goldmine. It is one of the most fun films you'll ever see come out of the Philippines. Absolutely ridiculous, with Reb Brown just screaming his way through the whole thing. Part 2, different film entirely. This one's with Brent Huff. Not connected, of course, to the first film, but a lot of people don't like this one as much. I think it's really good fun. It's more Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then, you know, Missing in Action rip-off, but it's still a lot of good fun. So Bruno Mattei, Strike Commando 1 and 2 from Severin Films. Thank you so much. Fantastic stuff. While I fully expect that Severin Films will get there eventually with this title, the Germans got there first with Bruno Mattei's Born to Fight. This was also up there with Strike Commando, was one of my favourites from that director. Absolutely mental, this thing. Brent Huff again is just blowing up everything he possibly can. Machine guns, bazookas, you name it, he blows it up. He's playing a really snarky, check that out, real snarky guy. He's lots of fun in this film. This Blu-ray is a media book, came out by Cinestrange, who have a disc they put out of Double Target, another Bruno Mattei film. Double Target Blu-ray looked okay. It was not restored, but it was widescreen, and, you know, it was sharp enough. And that's what I was expecting to get this time, but really they must have had better quality elements this time, because this looks as good as what Severin would do. So there you go. Booklet's all in German, I can't read a word of it, which is a real shame because I know there's going to be some gold in here. But Born to Fight, another absolutely classic Bruno Mattei, Brent Huff film. He blows up everything, and as he says in the film, it can be done, so Born to Fight. Going to big Hollywood films with the next two, and these films have had sporadic DVD releases throughout time. The first film's had one Blu-ray, which was fine. The second film has never had a Blu-ray before, and the DVDs, at least the Australian DVD, it wasn't even anamorphic and it looked like crap. All sorted now. Eddie Murphy's 48 Hours, another 48 Hours. Really nice releases through major company. These are out through Paramount. And they put a bit of effort in too, because they've got these, you know, their attempt at doing a boutique label. Got these really cool slipbox things to show the original poster artwork, which is really nice and a good effort. Check it out there as well. Next one. And yeah, I mean, if you're watching this channel called Explosive Action, I presume you have seen 48 Hours, Nick Nolte, absolute, just angry, nasty cop. Eddie Murphy as the criminal that's getting dragged along to help out with a case. It's got everything you want from 80s action films. It's hard-hitting Walter Hill stuff. The sequel is not as hard-hitting, but it is still a lot of good fun. Yeah, mandatory viewing as far as I'm concerned, so yeah, definitely get these Blu-rays. I think the slipcover editions might not be around, but that's fine. The discs themselves, just the same artwork, so there you go. Another 48 Hours and 48 Hours. Awesome. Going back to 1951 now for the early science fiction film Flight to Mars. This one came out through the Film Detective, who are a relatively new restoration company. They're doing all kinds of genre films across the gamut, but they've been doing a few sci-fi films. They've got more coming out. I've been very impressed with what they've done. This release the film looks incredibly good for a 1951 film. But really for me, the reason this one is actually in this best of the year is the film itself. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. It is such a quaint look at where we would be in the future. 1951, we had not yet launched a rocket into space with a person in it. So, I mean, some of the presumptions in this film about how we're going to go to space, and I mean, they're standing around in a launching rocket, drinking cups of tea with sauces and eating cucumber sandwiches. The whole thing is it's kind of adorable. And the film itself is just good fun. I had a lot of fun with the film. It's quite short. It's only 72 minutes. And it's just a nice release. It's got a little booklet in here too. Take a quick look at that. It was not a film I had heard of. I just saw this list on Amazon and went, oh, that looks interesting. And yeah, if you like your 50s science fiction films, all kinds of stuff about the movie in here. You like your 50s science fiction films and you want to check out some more, definitely check out Flight to Mars. It's a lot of good fun. The next two related box sets I need help talking about, so I've brought out Ultraman here. He's going to help me talk about these films. Aren't you, Ultraman? No, I'm not! Screw you then, Ultraman. I'll do it myself. We have Yokai Monsters collection, and we have the Daimajin trilogy, both out through Arrow Films. These are what was Daiei Films were doing, Daiei Productions were doing when Toho was putting out Godzilla films in the 60s. That's what these guys were putting out. And these were interesting. They're definitely interesting and a lot of fun to check out. I've watched only the first film from each set so far, so I can't talk about all of them, but in the Yokai Monsters collection we get 100 Monsters, Spook Warfare, along with Ghosts and the Great Yokai War, which is a more modern film. Take a look inside. It's a very tightly packed box. We get some promotional stuff for their October sale, which I won't give it time of day because that thing was a waste of time. But anyway, we get that's the modern cover up there for the latest of the films, and we get the Great Yokai War disc inside there, some cards and things, which is cool. Talking about the Yokai Monsters themselves. But this is the classic films here, so Yokai Monsters, 100 Monsters, and Spook Warfare, and along with Ghosts. So this is sort of the original trilogy of films from the 60s, and a bit of a promotional card there for some of the other box sets. Yep, nothing much else in there, but take a look at the artwork there from the original posters that they made a bit of a collage, give you an idea what you're going to get. And this is a fantastic inclusion, I think. A double-sided poster, to a bit of a show there, going through the different monsters that you're going to find in this world, which is really, really nice. And they've done them, I mean, if you've seen certain anime, you can recognize what this guy looks like. Just a really nice piece of extra paraphernalia there. Booklet talking about the films. Another wonderful Arrow booklet. Directors, Trilogy of Terror. Bit of a dissertation there. We've got some more works there, more photos. Very text heavy, very interesting read there from the Yokai Monsters. So that's the first box set. I'd never seen any of these films before. Like I've said, I've only watched the first one so far, but was really, really impressed with the special effects particularly. And there's it's not just as straightforward monster action as you think. There's more going on in these films. So yeah, very cool Yokai Monsters collection. But speaking of more going on, this one is far deeper. This is the Daimajin trilogy. Beautiful artwork on these ones. I think this set has been reissued in a simpler edition now, but the Yokai Monsters, I think you can still get that original box set, so just try and take these out. Oop. Tough to get the things out. These ones are in thin boxes for some reason. We'll start with the book, which is just enormous. Fantastic artwork on that one. Again, going on about the films and other things from the director. Some cool photos. Yeah, Daimajin's more like sort of the Japanese version of the Golem, I suppose. You know, a village will summon the creature and it will save them from whatever's going on. We got, these are out of order I think, yeah, Dimension, there we go, with the original poster, and Return of Dimension, and the third one here, which is Wrath of Dimension. So there you go. Very, very cool, and they're very feature heavy. Audio commentary by historians. This one's got introductions from film critics, video essays, alternate opening credits, and of course you get Japanese original audio and dubbed English as well if you choose. And on this one here we get more interviews, discussion with the director of the Toy Film Museum. Be interesting, I haven't checked that out. Storyboards to screen, bringing Return of Dimension to life, etc. There's all kinds of good stuff in these sets. So yeah, again, these are very impressive. And after, was it 2020 or 2019 when they did the Gamera set? I think it might have been 2020, the Gamera set. And this fits in nicely, at least content-wise. It doesn't fit on the shelf nicely, the Gamera ones, but anyway, there you go. Dimension Trilogy, Yokai Monsters, good sets from Arrow. I'm pretty sure I was cheering at the screen when I saw the announcement for these next 3 films that came out through Severin Films. They are Endgame from Joe D'Amato, Warriors of the Year 2072 from Lucio Fulci, and the long ignored on home video release, Raiders of Atlantis Interceptors. Wow. Yeah, they had a big deal about putting together these post-apocalyptic Italian films, Endgame and Warriors here, and you could get it with a collection with a book, which I did get the book as well, but I bought that separately. It's a very, very good book about post-nuke films. Endgame is a lot of good fun. I think it's probably the most typical of these genre films. Warriors, this one predates The Running Man and is very similar content. Had a terrible DVD release through Troma. Shocking stuff. Endgame's only ever had a German grey market DVD. But the one here, Raiders of Atlantis, this had a real German DVD, but it had no English audio. It had very good widescreen print, but that is not going to help you if you don't speak German. Finally, we have, as it says on here, the first ever authorized American Blu-ray release. And I like how they say authorized, because there's been some dodgy copies of this thing floating around DVD. Not too sure about Blu-rays, but yeah, anyway, all those days are behind us. We have a legit, incredibly good looking version of Raiders of Atlantis. Such a fun film. They put it in with the post-apocalyptic collection. It's not really. I mean, it's in there because of the Atlanteans, when they do finally show up, look like they come out of Road Warrior. Really, it's not post-apocalyptic. The world's not falling apart. But either way, it's an absolutely amazing film. I've got the massive Italian poster that I can't hang because it's so big. But anyway, you've got to check it out. Raiders of Atlantis, Warriors of the Year 2072, and Endgame. Fantastic releases from Severin Films post-apocalyptic collection. The next one is a real curiosity. It came out on DVD worldwide, never came out on Blu-ray anywhere. The sequels, part 2 and 3, did come out on Blu-ray on release days, so not sure what happened there, but finally Australia as well is the first country to release Outpost on Blu-ray. This is one of the absolutely top tier of the, I can't believe we have an entire subgenre of Nazi zombies, but we do. And Outpost is right up there. It's a fairly dark, moody, very gritty war and zombie film. So rewatchable, very stylish, and on HD really comes to life a lot more. It's never been the most colourful film. It's intentionally shot very low, low colour grading. It's very sort of grey almost, but it looks fantastic. Umbrella put this one out. Still don't think there's been an announcement for any other Blu-ray release worldwide. I'm not too sure. I know that Diabolic DVD did get copies of this Australian disc in to sell to the US market. So yeah, if you're a fan of Nazi zombies, you should already be a fan of Outpost, and definitely worth upgrading your DVD. Australia's Imprint Films have really been making a name for themselves the last couple of years. Fairly new company, but they're becoming like our own version of Criterion. There's such a eclectic range of films that they put out, and they put out this really fantastic box set, the Silver Screams Cinema box set. Contains 6 films as listed here: The Unknown Terror, Return of the Ape Man, Vampire's Ghost, She-Devil, Valley of the Zombies, and Phantom Speaks. But there is a bonus 7th film called Lady and the Monster that it says in the paraphernalia is in SD, but it is definitely in HD and looks just as good as the other films. In fact, it looks better than Return of the Ape Man, which is one that looks a little bit suspect for the first reel. But anyway, incredibly interesting box set, and it's opened my eyes to this subset of films I didn't really know existed. The B-grade alternatives to the Universal monster films. I knew of 50s films, but in the 40s, I didn't really realize it was such a wide range of films doing similar kind of things. You've got, Bela Lugosi's Twilight career films here. You've got all kinds of interesting stuff, and it's another fantastic box set. So take a look. You get original posters on each side: Vampire's Ghost, Phantom Speaks, Valley of the Zombies, Return of the Ape Man, Unknown Terror, She-Devil, and the 7th film, which was Lady and the Monster, is a bonus feature not listed on the cover art. So really, really nice box set, and I really enjoyed watching these films over 3 nights as double features. I just sat down and watched the entire disc all the way through because they're very short films, 65 minutes, 70 at tops. You can just burn through them, and they're simple plots. They're not preachy, they're not too involved, they're just short, to the point, black and white science fiction, sci-fi horror films, and I thought they were very enjoyable, kind of quaint. So yeah, Silver Screams box set, definitely one of the best things to pick up from in print, so do so. A bunch of classic genre films that do not have Blu-rays that people keep asking for. Where's the Blu-ray? An example would be The Hitcher. Where's the Blu-ray? Doesn't exist. Another film that was always getting asked for, where's the Blu-ray? Alone in the Dark. I don't know what took this so long, but Shout Factory's finally stepped up and released a HD version of Alone in the Dark. It did come with a slipcover, but I thought that was pretty rubbish. This is the cover art that you need to show. This is a classic. This is from 1980, I think, 1982, and it's got Jack Palance, Donald Pleasance, Martin Landau. I mean, you've got such style in the actors here that it's just an absolute joy to watch this thing. I don't know what else to say. Alone in the Dark. Everybody at this point knows about Alone in the Dark, but they've just been clambering for a HD edition. That's why it's included here, because it's finally one to tick off. Another DVD in the retirement pile. The slipcover has this custom artwork, which, as I said, I just didn't care for it. It was definitely a case of, you don't need to do that, just show this please, because that's what the punters want. Very cool film, and yeah, now we have it in HD, thanks to Shout Factory, Alone in the Dark. And my last selection for my favourite release of 2021 is the Cinematic Vengeance box set out through Eureka. We got 8 films here from director Joseph Kyo. This is such a good and unexpected, I think, box set. You've had Eureka and 88 Films, and now Arrow doing Shaw Brothers releases, doing Jackie Chan films, Sammo Hung films. Out of nowhere, they just get all of these great little martial arts things, throw them in a box. Unexpected and very, very welcome. Very cool artwork here. They've got the original posters. We'll go through the titles in a second. There you go. Beautiful stuff. Then you get the lobby cards, which I've not taken out, but yeah, original lobby cards, very nice. And another detailed booklet, all about the films, interview texts, and yep, really nice stuff here. So the films themselves, we get, show them back. We get the 7 Grandmasters, 36 Deadly Styles, World of Drunken Master, The Old Master, Shaolin Kung Fu, Shaolin Kids, 18 Bronzemen, Return of the 18 Bronzemen. It is such a packed set, and the prints are really, really good. So far, the only one I've watched was the Shaolin Kung Fu, and I thought that was a really good fun film. So take a look at the sets inside. You get 2 films per disc and 2 discs per set, so there you go. And plenty of extras as well. Original Mandarin audio tracks, which is what you want. English dubbed audio on some of the films, and subtitles, of course. Audio commentary, new audio commentaries, interviews, and reconstruction of original theatrical release of 18 Bronzemen. So there you go. Your alternate cuts of the film. So yeah, this is just another great set. Eureka, I think, they're the UK's answer to Criterion, but I think a lot of boutique film collectors don't consider Eureka that often. They know Arrow, they know 88, but they don't always go to Eureka. You really need to, because they're putting out some little bangers like this thing. Cinematic Vengeance, 8 films from Joseph Keogh. Fantastic. So they're my picks, my favourites of the year 2021 of releases, not films, but releases of editions that came out through the different boutique labels on Blu-ray. Please let me know what you think. Write down in the comments, I want to know what your favourite releases were this year. Of course, I've missed plenty of things. I couldn't buy everything. I'm not a completist collector. I buy the stuff that is of interest to me at the time. And I could have done this entire video just on Vinegar Syndrome. I could have done this on just VSA titles if I really thought about it. But I didn't. I spread the love around different labels and different films. So let me know what you think, what you liked this year. Let me know what you would like to see in 2022. I'm really curious to see what people will be putting on the top of their bucket list for next year. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, check out this thing, that thing, whatever they may be. See you next time.